Welcome to Stalker 2, a genuinely top-tier game based on the Chernobyl nuclear power plant disaster in 1986. The best thing about horrific tragedies is they make for the best family-friendly games. Part of me doesn't want World War III to happen, but another part of me is sick of playing World War II games. Funnily enough, I used to call my ex-girlfriend Chernobyl because she'd always have a meltdown. That, and because of all the radiation treatment she had. She didn't have a tumor or anything, I'd just point an EBRT machine at her while she slept. You go through my phone, I gradually kill all of your healthy cells. Our mission is to enter the contamination zone, which seems like an objectively bad decision, but so did having unprotected sex with that Russian hooker in my gap year, yet your boy is STI free. I am, however, still stuck paying child support to my son Nikolai. Speaking of mistakes, I take a quick splash in a nuclear contaminated puddle and then sneak past the wall into the red zone, which is actually incredibly easy as there's a large hole in it. The game proceeds to teach me the basics of every FPS game ever, like how to crouch and slash with my knife. God forbid it teaches us something actually useful like tax minimization strategies or how to emotionally connect with your 7-year-old Russian son. I eat some tuna, mag dump a corpse, and then head out into the big scary world. It really is incredibly spooky. This is the part of the game where they let the atmosphere alone terrify you. Just kidding, a huge mutated dog viciously rushes me. I've never handled scary games well, in fact I often shriek loudly. My neighbours once called the cops to report the murder of 6 high school girls, but it was just me home alone playing Among Us with the lights off. I find a building which is decrepit. The nuclear explosion and radiation didn't actually spread this far. This is a standard upper middle class Eastern European dwelling. The host doesn't even offer me a glass of vodka. All the NPCs have actual names. This dodgy surname is Rooftop. What do you mean they're AI generated? My best friend's last name is Ceiling Fan. I continue to make 110% sure that I'll never need a vasectomy, and then something awful happens. A mutated half-invisible monster decides I'm a tasty snack. Not ideal, but this still isn't as awful as all of you out there who keep accusing me of being a communist sympathizer. I had some guy even accuse me of using my videos as vehicles to subliminally advertise communist propaganda. I like to joke around, but it honestly pisses me off quite a lot. It can really hurt my advertisement rates if you guys keep pushing that agenda, so please back off on the accusations. I proceed to flee the scene and run towards the closest water source as that's where I feel safest. This goes poorly as I immediately dissolve like a Scottish finger in a cup of freshly brewed social imperialism. All of this dying has me feeling down, so I search for something to pick up my mood. Whenever I'm sad, I like to play volleyball. Of course, I proceed to find the one guy in the zone with no arms.
Hey Pelly, we need to talk.
What's up?
What are you wearing?
It's mating season. I'm just trying to see if a Pelican can get laid.
I'm leaving you.
Wait, I just downloaded Opera GX, the best web browser in the world.
Tell me more, Daddy.
Check out the GX mod store where you can completely customize your browser. You've got background music, keyboard sounds, themes, wallpapers, and it's all easy to access. I installed the GTA San Andreas theme, which reminds me of a time before my parents were divorced.
That was literally 20 years ago, babe. See a therapist.
Sorry, I can't hear you over the sound of my GTA San Andreas keyboard sounds.
Okay, that's pretty hot. Tell me more, Papa Pelly.
Opera GX now has native integration with generative AI. These easy-to-use AI tools make your life so much easier. I haven't written a text message to you in years, it's all AI.
So when you told me the reason you run away after we make love is to cry by yourself for hours, that wasn't you, that was just AI?
Sure. The smart AI prompts can summarize articles, find related content, and generate images. See, I'll ask ChatSonic to generate an image based on all of my internet history searches. The GX Corner offers free games, the best deals on games, new releases, and breaking news all in one place. Right now, GX Corner is notifying all the AAA games set to release in the next month, which helps me plan my content.
Okay, wow, have my babies.
It will be quick.
I know.
No, it will be quick to import all of your settings from previous browsers like bookmarks, histories, and cookies. Opera GX makes the whole process easier than your sister.
My what?
My sidebar. It's got all the apps I could ever want, like WhatsApp, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook Messenger.
The only person who uses Facebook Messenger is my mom, and she doesn't even know how to attach photos.
Nah, your mum knows how to attach photos.
How do you know that?
Opera GX is like upgrading from a Prius to a Maserati. It's like putting ice cubes in your glass on a hot summer day, and unlike my Vietnamese mail order bride, it's completely free. Thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Use my link in the description and top comment to download the greatest web browser in history. The sun finally comes out, which is welcome. It's hard to game when you're uncontrollably crying in fear. I mean, I'm a grown man, I don't cry. I bottle my emotions up for months, if not years, until one day the pain becomes too much and I lash out and just start relentlessly beating my girlfriend. In volleyball. I hear some guy calling for help and I head over to defend him. I get into a shootout with some other people who also think it's a fun idea to visit a nuclear radiation zone. I hear the Amalfi Coast is nice this time of year. It has beaches, the potential for a tan, and the added benefit of not returning home with leukemia. I kill several people, and then this guy Zorik asks if we can save his friend. I agree to do it. Zorik says I should help myself to his stash of weapons before I attempt the brave rescue mission. The stash is inside this crashed helicopter. He's got ammo, guns, and canned food. This couldn't have come at a better time, as apparently whenever I get scared, I aggressively spray and pray until I have no bullets left. I reach the compound that Zorik's mate is being kept at, and I hear a man screaming. Literal chills. Either he's being tortured, or more likely, he's a crewmate being chased by the imposter in a game of Among Us. Poor lad. I give him my thoughts and prayers. Night comes faster than I do when my girl puts on her volleyball outfit. As I reach the settlement, I see some lads patrolling, and for the first time this playthrough, I become the Stalker. One by one, I stealth kill the entire 8-man patrol. Fortunately, none of them really look around too much. If they want to improve their spatial awareness skills, I thoroughly recommend they join a mixed social volleyball team. I recently joined my girlfriend's team, and it's been the best experience of my life. I'm one lanky unit, and my average opponent is a 4-foot-tall corporate mum. I'm the Michael Jordan of Thursday evening mixed social volleyball, and it's exhilarating. I arrive at the settlement, and this guard has a gas mask on. That seems like a bare minimum safety measure for a radiation zone. I strongly think we should all actually be wearing a gas mask. I don't think it takes a Bachelor of Nuclear Engineering to realise that the air is almost certainly contaminated. What are we doing here, big girls? It's a wholesome vibe at the base. Just soldiers sitting around a campfire sharing stories. In fact, these soldiers look exactly like the patrol whose throats I just slit. I head into the tavern and the general gives a little speech.
3 of my men never reported back from their overnight patrol around the lesser zone.
I suppose that's 11 of your men that are now missing. I find a bed and snuggle down for the night, quickly falling asleep. In a game with invisible mutated creatures, falling asleep that fast is the most unrealistic element. He should lie there for at least 45 minutes going over every social interaction he had that day and rationalising why his friends and family dislike him. The sun is out and the guards are busy patrolling, but I must head out and make the most of this daylight. I spot a water tower, which naturally attracts me, and I climb to the top. I utilise the game's hang gliding system to cover distance quickly, except there isn't actually a hang gliding system. I continue searching the zone, but constantly get shot by other survivors like I dressed up as Santa Claus and visited South Compton. Still, I personally much prefer fighting humans than monsters. Darkness comes wildly quickly, and I look for a place to spend the night. I climb an old windmill, and the guy at the top is agitated and jumpy. I tell the sketchy fella to put the gun down and explain that I'm here to make best friends. Unlike my girlfriend, he apologizes. Wow, last night I made out with my girlfriend's sister, in her dream, and I still ended up apologizing. It's nice to be on the other side of one. We're really building bridges here. He says it's not a nice place to live here in Chernobyl. Yeah, no shit mate, it's a nuclear radiation zone, there's like 1,000 signs when you walk in. He then asks if I'll retrieve an artifact for him. What do I look like, an employee of the British Museum? I pump him full of lead and take his belongings and then treat myself to a well-earned rest on my objectively disgusting soiled mattress. A nuclear reactor explodes and apparently now we're just ignoring the concept of fresh linen. I sit down by the campfire and talk to the troops.
The first break I've taken today.
God, these poor soldiers are overworked and underpaid. If only there was a socio-political model centered around common ownership of the mean of production and distribution of labor that allocated resources for everyone, foregoing the need for private property and tiering economic classes. Okay, I will admit that communism has one tiny cute little flaw. It has never worked ever in history. I set off to find those missing soldiers, and of course their last known location is a terrifying underground bunker. God forbid they get lost at an indoor sports centre that has a volleyball court or two. I find the missing men, and it's not looking good. They appear to have been violently murdered by something not human. I feel like I need to show you the vibe of this game for a moment.
I am right behind you.
Oh, you're my best friend. You're like a brother to me.
Sorry, man. Ice cream machine's broken.
From the screen to the ring to the pen to the key.
I decide not to stick around and instead report back that the soldiers died honourable deaths. Or you know, some sort of poltergeist mutilated their corpses and hung them up like Christmas decorations. Good on them for leaning into the festive season. I personally have already started blasting Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. On my way back to bed, I discover the true most dangerous thing in this radiated hellhole. Due to the darkness, I fall off a small ledge and die upon impact. I feel like I could have tanked that drop in real life with maybe some internal bruising or a sprained ankle at most. That being said, a sprained ankle would emotionally ruin me. Thursday night mixed social volleyball is the only thing keeping me going. Just in case there wasn't enough reasons to holiday here in Chernobyl, a nuclear storm rolls through as everyone panics and seeks shelter. I looked into the lore of why stalkers even come to Chernobyl in the first place, and it's mostly to get rich. This would have to be the worst get-rich scheme I've ever seen in my entire life. Outside of the guaranteed radiation poisoning, literal invisible demons, and an overall relatively hostile demographic, there's absolutely no treasures or riches. I'm lucky if I find a can of tuna and a handful of 7.62 rounds. This is Ukraine, not an undiscovered Aztec tomb. We unlock a new section of the map and get to cross a bridge into undiscovered territory where I'm sure I'll find a briefcase full of untraceable bear bonds. At what point is it easier to just get a job? Do you know what you get flipping burgers in a normal city? Mild grease burns on your lower arms, not guaranteed lymphoma. I see some soldiers who have tied a poor man up and are hoping to steal his stash. They ask me to help him find it, but instead I decide to threaten them. This goes poorly, as my character isn't exactly the most intimidating person.
I've got a better idea. You pack up and leave, and I don't hurt you.
He sounds like a villain from a Nickelodeon show. I've got a better plan, asswipe. You pack up and leave, and I won't get mad. You won't like me when I'm mad, asshole. I get into a pretty intense gunfight, which is periodically broken up by my gun jamming. Like 75% of this game is your gun jamming. I eat some bread mid-gunfight by mistake, don't let pending death break the carb load, and then I finish off the remaining hostiles. I then inject the big girl with penicillin and get him back to his feet. Does he say thank you for killing 4 people and saving his life? No, he just stands up, pulls out an iPad and starts playing on it. This generation is addicted to devices. Why don't you look up from that screen, champ, and enjoy the radiation storm? I can't stand poor manners and the fact that this guy is leaving me on red in real life, and so I kill him and take his iPad. A militia group radios for me to come over and visit them. Sounds safe and fun, let's trust people. On the way I get hounded by little radiated vicious dogs. I proceed to use all my ammunition on them. A lack of bullets is becoming a huge problem for me. I head into the barracks and it's here I find soldiers with impeccably clean uniforms. I'm like, what's up, General Cutie? It's been 4 days since I've seen a woman, do you want to smooch? He's like, nah, can you please find my missing soldiers? More missing soldiers. If I had to put my money on it, I'd say they died horribly painful monster deaths. Their last known location was a factory nearby, sounds scary. I agree that I'll look, but this reminds me of the time I made my #1 most inappropriate joke of my life. When I was younger, I was dating this little minx and I was having dinner at her place. Her dad was a military guy and he was grilling me so unbelievably hard for a first meeting. His wife was trying to act like Switzerland and keep the peace, but he was relentless. He was ranting. So you don't have a car, you don't have a job, you're not studying. What do you see in this man? So I responded. If it's not my car, my job, or my money, it can really only be one other thing. I glanced at my crotch. He shut up for the rest of dinner. It felt great that my girl's family thought I had a huge dick when only we knew the truth. Bang average, if the lighting's good and if I give it a cheeky pre-game slap. I searched for the soldiers. Looks like someone had Indian and Mexican for dinner. No, of course, as predicted, an invisible demon murdered them all. I begin getting chased around by that very invisible demon and there's nowhere to escape. It's pitch black, my bullets don't seem to be doing damage, and nah, what the fuck? Welcome to my Minecraft playthrough, where everything is happy and colourful. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, it'll keep my videos living in your algorithm rent-free. Check out my other channel, Papa Pelly. I just made a Crips vs Blood gang war video, it's one of my favourites. There's at least 27 gay jokes. I love you.